Outlast. Whistleblower is a DLC expansion for the original Outlast, serving as both a prequel and a parallel story to the events of the main game. It follows Waylon Park, a software engineer working for the Murkoff Corporation, who becomes a whistleblower after uncovering the company's horrific experiments at Mount Massive Asylum. Here's a detailed breakdown of the plot, chapter by chapter. The story begins with Waylon Park sitting at his desk in the Murkoff Corporation offices within Mount Massive Asylum. Waylon has been working undercover, documenting the unethical experiments conducted on the asylum's patients. Disgusted by what he's seen, he sends an anonymous email to investigative journalist Miles Upshur, urging him to come to the asylum and expose the truth. However, before Waylon can leave, he is confronted by Murkoff's head of security, Jeremy Blaire. Blaire reveals that they've been monitoring Waylon's activities and orders his men to detain him. Waylon is injected with an unknown substance and strapped to a gurney, beginning his descent into the nightmare of Mount Massive. Waylon wakes up in the asylum's male ward, now overrun by the inmates who have broken free due to the chaos caused by the Morphogenic Engine experiments. The asylum is in complete disarray, with bodies and blood everywhere. Waylon must navigate through the dark, claustrophobic hallways, avoiding the deranged inmates who are now roaming freely. One of the most terrifying figures Waylon encounters is Eddie Gluskin, also known as the Groom. Gluskin is a former patient who believes he is destined to create a perfect family. He captures other male inmates, mutilating them in grotesque ways to turn them into his brides. Waylon narrowly escapes Gluskin's clutches multiple times, but not without witnessing the horrifying aftermath of Gluskin's actions. As Waylon progresses through the asylum, he learns more about the experiments being conducted by Murkoff. The Morphogenic Engine, a device designed to manipulate the human mind, has driven most of the patients and staff insane. The experiments are tied to the Walrider project, a secret military program aimed at creating a super soldier controlled by a swarm of nanobots. Waylon encounters various inmates, each with their own twisted backstories. Some are hostile, while others are too far gone to even recognize him. He also finds notes and documents that shed light on the extent of Murkoff's crimes, including the exploitation of vulnerable patients for profit. Waylon's primary goal is to escape the asylum and expose Murkoff's crimes to the world. However, his path is blocked by both the inmates and Murkoff's private military contractors, who are trying to contain the situation. Waylon must use stealth and quick thinking to avoid detection, as he is completely defenseless. During his escape, Waylon encounters Chris Walker, the hulking variant who played a major role in the original game. Walker is relentless in his pursuit, and Waylon must outsmart him to survive. He also learns more about the Walrider, the shadowy entity that haunts the asylum, and its connection to the Morphogenic Engine. As Waylon gets closer to freedom, he comes face to face with the Walrider itself. The Walrider is a swarm of nanobots controlled by a host, and in the original game, Miles Upshur becomes its host after being subjected to the Morphogenic Engine. In Whistleblower, Waylon witnesses the aftermath of this transformation, as the Walrider wreaks havoc on Murkoff's forces. Waylon manages to reach the asylum's exit, but his ordeal isn't over. Jeremy Blaire confronts him one last time, attempting to kill him to cover up Murkoff's crimes. However, the Walrider intervenes, killing Blaire in a gruesome manner. Waylon finally escapes the asylum, but he is left physically and mentally scarred by his experiences. The game ends with Waylon uploading the evidence of Murkoff's atrocities online, ensuring that the truth cannot be buried. However, his fate remains uncertain. The final scene shows Waylon sitting in a dimly lit room, typing out his story. He reflects on the horrors he witnessed and the lives lost, but he also expresses hope that his actions will bring justice to the victims. As the screen fades to black, the sound of the Walrider's hum can be heard in the distance, leaving players with a sense of unease and dread. Outlast. Whistleblower expands on the themes of corruption, exploitation, and the abuse of power introduced in the original game. It provides a deeper look into the horrors of Mount Massive Asylum and the people who suffered there. Waylon's story is one of bravery and sacrifice, as he risks everything to expose the truth, even though he knows he may not survive. The DLC also ties directly into the events of the original Outlast, offering new perspectives on the Walrider project and the fate of Miles Upshur. Together, the two stories create a cohesive and terrifying narrative that lingers long after the game is over.